What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the CRWN Cinema Podcast. In this episode, we literally just watched WHIPLASH. That is a fucking movie.
Exciting, driven. I think it makes you think a lot about who you are as a young man.
Kind of does, though, honestly.
No, it does. I mean, you know, you think about just being like somebody, like a man in high school, going through adolescence. You got that one coach, maybe looks like me.
A lot like you.
Yeah, he might scare you a little bit, and then all of a sudden you realize, okay, this is real life.
He actually wants to help me.
He does.
Kind of.
Now, there are a lot of extremities in this movie.
Extremities.
To where the conductor kind of pushes the main character to go. But at the end of the day, it's to make him a better man. That's why I like this movie.
Not even a better man. I mean, just the best drummer possible. Because it's kind of, the whole point of the movie, it's like, it's trying to answer the question of like, when is it too far to push somebody? Or to achieve greatness, is it really worth the cost? Because you have to kind of exclude everything. You're put under extreme pressure. It's not really that healthy it's not healthy to do what he's doing, but the payoff is greatness. And he kind of has that moment at the end where he kind of realizes, I did it. I'm cut for this. Right. I've worked my ass off to do it. I've been pushed to the limits. I've been every chance possible to bail out and to be discouraged, but he chooses not to because he wants to be one of the greatest.
Oh, clearly. I mean, if you look at it like that, I look at it as J.K. Simmons' character portrays. He has been his entire life, as he admits it, he has been looking to just push one student and one student only to being the greatest. And so that's been his entire mission. And so to do that, he will go to hell and back. And so Miles, what's the main character?
Teller. Andrew Neiman.
Miles Teller. Miles Teller's main character, like, he's already thought that he has like pushed himself just in life. Like he's been raised by a single father. His mother has not been there like at all. And all of a sudden he's put in the school where, I don't know, like maybe he thinks like in the state of the world, like there will be like kind of shortcuts or there will be sympathy. And then all of a sudden he's realizing that that's not the case. He's not going to get any sympathy from anybody in the world. And so J.K. Simmons is there to remind him, like, no, life is fucking tough. And it's way tougher if you were trying to be the best at whatever you're trying to be. And I am there to bring it out of you.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even say it's really about like life in general, because you kind of see in the beginning throughout the movie, the dad, his life ain't that hard. He kind of chose to bail out on greatness. He's a high school writing teacher, hasn't really done anything worth accomplishing. He's just an average dude that just wants to watch movies with his son, raise his son, live a nice life, be comfortable. But that's not what Andrew wants. Andrew wants greatness. And so in order to get that, you have to go through trials, like what J.K. Simmons' character, what's his last name? Terence Fletcher. That's what he's pushing Andrew toward, is like, you cannot be the best without being brutally almost treated. Like you have to be put through the fire in order to get there. Because greatness doesn't come from, having fun all the time, just enjoying it. You have to really grind and really have to go through some pain to be the greatest.
I feel like the fire isn't even close to like what describes like what he's put through like during this movie, because J.K. Simmons' character, I mean, it's just up and down. But then as we're watching this movie, I think we can all agree, like when we're all watching it, there were a couple times there where we thought, okay, well, the movie's probably about to end. I mean, it seems like this is a pretty, like, just kosher setting. Like, everything seems pretty relaxed. Everything seems like this would be a great way to end it. Nada. Because he just hits him with that fucking curveball, and then all of a sudden Miles is just looking around, just, what? like, what happened? And then me and you, like, we're looking at each other just thinking, like, what the fuck? Like, they have like 40 minutes left in this movie. How could they possibly get away with him pulling some shit like that?
What you're saying with Fletcher torturing him so much?
There's the torture scene, but then there's also like, I mean, we'll dive deeper into it, like going into it, but like whenever he looks at him, he was like, what, you think I'm a fucking idiot? You think I didn't know it was you?
Right.
And like, I remember that scene right there. I was just immediately like, whoa, holy shit. Like, he's about to leave him stranded on this island, but he's not. He thinks that he is creating the greatest version of whatever he could be.
Right.
You know,
yeah, he's giving him tests, and it's like, if you pass this, you're gonna unlock the next level, and you're gonna level up.
Yeah, so I could see a lot of people being mad about this movie because it's all about pushing somebody that might be going through anxiety through way too much. When I think the harsh reality is that you haven't even touched what you might become if you don't go past that.
Right. 100%. All right, what do you rate it out of 10?
Well, okay, this was our true. This is one of our first few movies where I think like none of us have seen it.
I've seen it.
Correct?
I've seen it.
You have seen it?
Yeah.
What?
I keep saying every time we've been recommending, like we've been talking about the movie, I'm like, oh, I love that movie. It's a great movie.
When did you see it?
Not that long ago, probably within a year.
Fuck. Goddamn. Anyways, no. Okay, this is my first time seeing it. I've heard about this movie. I have seen a lot of controversy about this movie. But my first time seeing it, I would rate it at a 9.
Perfect. I was getting really worried. I was like, this motherfucker about to give this movie a 6?
Absolutely not. No,
Okay.
This is a great movie.
Okay, good. Yeah, no, I give it a 9 as well. I was going to give it a 9 because there's a lot of movies that will have big stories with a lot of different characters, a lot of crazy stuff happening, but this one's so contained in itself. It's just about him pursuing his greatness. And the way they go about it, the theme is so prevalent throughout it. There's so many little filmmaking sprinklings in it that enhance the theme and also show some messaging that you may not even realize on the first watch. The first watch, I didn't notice it, but this watch I did. And plus, like looking into the movie some more, there's a lot of little nuances with like the colors specifically. The way it's filmed is awesome. The cinematography is cool, obviously. Damien Chazelle makes, some of the best movies. He's a really good filmmaker. So I just love this movie. It builds you up so much and has a happy ending where you're like, you feel good after it. But when you really think about the ending, it's like, was all that worth it? And Terence Fletcher's behavior is almost rewarded at the end because they pull it off, and it's like an awesome scene, and you feel happy afterward. And it's almost like, wait a second, we just saw him cause somebody who was a great musician to kill themselves. He also treated everybody on the staff who's scared to death of him like shit, and he's rewarded. But the scenes pays off, just like how that would be in real life. Being tortured like that to become the best does pay off. But is it really worth it, though? So I give it a 9. Scott?
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 10. I love this director. I'd only seen La La Land and Babylon before this. I've just been putting off watching this movie. I don't even know why, but it was better than I ever imagined.
All right, what do you rate it?
10.
10? Nice.
Bro loves movies. No. So what I will say is that leading up to this movie, which this is one of those movies where it started out as a short film, correct?
He couldn't. So the reason why he made the short film is because he didn't have the funding to fund the movie. So he made the short film to then market it, so that way they can then get people to pay for it, so then he could go and make the full thing.
But it got picked up as like a bigger studio film. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Scott?
Blumhouse Productions, and it was them who suggested he do a short as a proof of concept.
Yeah, but it was J.K. Simmons that was the original conductor in the first place, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it wasn't Miles Teller?
No, it wasn't Miles Teller.
Miles Teller. So when I say that, I say this, like, I appreciate the controversy, but given the videos that I was shown, it was more of J.K.'s character on Miles, and like everybody was really pissed off about like how hard he was on him. Like a little bit more.
Yeah, a little bit closer to the lips.
Let's act like we've been here before.
Come on, son.
A lot of the controversy was about how J.K.'s character was being too hard on Miles. And that's what I saw before I watched the movie, not realizing that it got way deeper into that. So I remember going into this movie, I was a little annoyed because I didn't think he was like going that hard on him. Like
In the short?
Yeah, just like the clips that I saw, because I guess people like don't want to like spoil anything or whatever.
Yeah.
They don't show the scenes where JK's character is mad that he's lost a student that has committed suicide, but he's not that mad because he's hiding it from his students. And he's not that mad about Miles' character showing up to a huge recital after clearly being in some huge accident, And so, like, leading up to that, I was like, what? They're just mad that he's yelling at them? Like, what? That's it? Come on. I literally look like a coach that would have yelled at you till you cried.
Yeah, but it's that abusive power, because J.K. Simmons' character, he's literally abusive. Like, he'll make you feel like shit, and then the next scene after he just threw the chair at Miles Teller's character,
Makes him feel good.
makes him feel good. He's like, he's like, hey, I'm your buddy. I'm here to help you out. And then the next scene,
Just relax.
berates him again.
Just relax.
Right.
Hey, it's just, hey, when you get out there, just relax. And all of a sudden, it's like, what? It feels like forever. I'm sure it's more like a 2-minute short, whereas he's just like, are you dragging?
No, the short's like 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
What?
The short film.
No, not the.
Hold it like this.
I don't have it on.
Hold it this way, with this facing this way. And I hold it at the bottom, so I don't touch it.
It's not the short that I'm talking about.
You said short.
It's the short scene wherever he is like, are you dragging or are you rushing?
Yeah. Sorry, I said that because that scene is the short film. That whole like scene when he's yelling at him, are you
Is
rushing
that
or
what
dragging?
it is?
That's a short film. That
Okay.
entire long scene, like when he walks in, when he sits down, that entire like 20-minute scene is the short film that they shot before they got the funding for this.
Okay. That would make sense, because that scene right there is just very important to like where the relationship is going to go, because you don't know if you can trust JK's character,
No.
but you understand that he is looking for like his perfection.
And you also know that he's a manipulative, because when he tells the one guy, when he's trying to find the person that's out of tune, he sees the one guy who he calls Elmer Fudd. He's like, are you out of tune? And he's like, yes, I am. He's like, all right, well, get the fuck out. And he's like, he wasn't on tune, but him not knowing is even worse. You were out of tune. And then they keep going. So he's not really truthful. Like, he's going to just push you, because if you're going to be the one that's going to try to say the right answer to him, get the fuck out. You need to know the right answer. Like, you should be confident in your abilities and your skills to know what it's doing to play with him, because he just demands excellence. And excellence doesn't second guess themselves.
What is it called, an orchestrator or a composer?
Composer.
It's a composer.
Right? That's correct?
No, composer writes the music.
That's right.
He's a conductor.
Conductor.
My bad.
Sorry, we're working on it, everybody. None of us were in band.
Not very musically inclined.
Yeah. Except Scott. We all know that this is Scott's, like,
I was in drumline for a little bit.
we have no doubt Scott.
You can scat.
5th grade.
You can
Yes.
scat.
Yeah, Scott has really good rhythm. We all know this. But no, like, so the problem is that you have this conductor that at the end of the movie, you realize that his goal wasn't to find the perfect orchestra. It was to find the perfect one. Like, he just wanted to find the one person in that orchestra that was going to deliver one of the greatest performances that could be seen by human eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Human
that's where-
ears.
Yeah, and human ears. And that's where it's just so messed up, because realistically, who could live up to that? Otherwise a movie is made. Like, it's just tough because he has been in this industry for a long time. A professor at a very well-established organization, college university.
Number one in the country.
Yeah, and his sole objective is just to find the one person that is good, the best at what they do.
Yeah.
Sorry, we had some whiskey while we drank.
Gray had quite a bit of whiskey. But yeah, I mean, that's the whole point of the movie, though. It's like, is his behavior worth the result? Because you think about like college coaches, or even think about like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. They're known to berate people, and they're known to being dickheads. But because of the success that they gain, people kind of reward that behavior. And again, at the end of it, they reward Fletcher's behavior because you're excited for him. Like, kind of at the end of the movie, you forget everything that happened because he finally smiles at him, and Miles Teller smiles back, and he's proud of himself, and he actually proved himself to Fletcher. But it's like, does that matter that you proved himself to that person?
Yeah, which I don't like.
You don't like what?
I don't like that he smiles at him because he got in a car wreck.
No, I'm talking about the very last scene.
No, I know the last scene, but I'm just thinking, like, you finally made him proud. But to me, as a human, like, if I got in a car wreck and showed up to an event and did the best that I could, and my let's just say head coach is looking at me and he's like, "What are you doing?" Like, dude, I'm fucking bleeding. I'm like halfway down my body. I'm clearly not going to go that well. Like, it's just not going to go well.
That's the point, though, because like Damien Chazelle talked about it, and he doesn't think that Fletcher's admirable. He doesn't think that that's somebody you should look up to. He doesn't think that behavior is even okay. But he's demonstrating that this happens, and
he's pushing them to the limit.
Yeah, and it's not. He's not saying it's okay, but he's also putting it on display for you to see. And the point of a good movie is for you to have different takeaways. Like, a lot of people agree with you where it's like, that's not okay. That's kind of bullshit that he cares that much about that guy's opinion who's literally a fucking dickhead. Yet he does. He still does at the end. So it's conflicting.
He doesn't care about his opinion. He cares about just being the greatest. So I guess we're kind of agreeing in the sense that, like, he thinks that he's the greatest, and so his opinion matters.
Yeah, they both have the same goal, and so they kind of respect what each other are doing. Fletcher is, being abusive, and he says the reason is because he's trying to find the greatest, and the greatest wouldn't back down from someone doing that. And then he doesn't back down. So it's like they're kind of on the same page, but it's not a great
because Fletcher
relationship.
He trusts that Fletcher has the right taste. He's been in the game. He's coached a lot of people, and clearly he's the composer. What is it? Conductor. He's the conductor of the highest school in the country's orchestra, or the band. Is it an orchestra?
It's a band.
Band. Okay. Jazz band, right? Yeah, jazz band.
Well, I think there's
so he trusts his opinion, and so when he gives the green light, he knows that his taste is so minute and it has to be perfect that if you can please him, you did a pretty good job, and you probably have met greatness.
Yeah. Well, I think there's some foreshadowing because he tells J.K.'s character tells Miles' character. Sorry, I'm never good with characters. But J.K., his character, tells Miles' character about the story about one of the greatest to ever do it was thrown a cymbone at his hand, or at his head.
Symbol.
He was throwing a cymbal at his head, and he tries that. And then he realizes that's not enough. And so...
He throws a chair at him.
Chair, yeah, okay, yeah, chair. He throws something at his head because in his head he's thinking, this is my guy, this will work, and then it doesn't. So then that's why I argue that J.K. Simmons' character is like actually the main character, because it's all about him trying to find the greatest, and he realizes that that's not enough, and so he pushes him to the limit of like leaving his girlfriend, pushing his family away. He gets in a car wreck, like almost dies in that car wreck. And then he shows up and then still gets put back on the second chair, and then just everything. And just the whole thing is just like, what limits do we have at this point to push ourselves to greatness?
I would say he's the main character because you don't know anything about his backstory. He's definitely the antagonist, like he's the enemy of Miles Teller, who's definitely the protagonist. He's the main character because he's the one we're following. We see his life. It's all about him achieving it.
I wouldn't say, yeah, I mean, you could say obviously he's like the protagonist, but like when you look at like whenever they go to dinner and he explains himself and he tells Miles Teller's character why he does what he does, to me, it flipped right there. Like, okay, wait, this whole thing has been about like how hard he is on his students and why his journey is as fucked up as it is. That's how I took it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. What's really cool about it, though, I was mentioning it earlier, is the colors, because it's got that yellow color for a lot of it, but it drifts away sometimes in a green, and even towards the end, there's some blue there. And I watched a breakdown on it, and the yellow is kind of where Miles wants to be. He wants to be in the room. The room where they practice is all yellow. He is aiming to be there, so when you see him chasing it, or you see him on stage, or you see him, you know, kind of in the cut of like doing what he wants to do, it's yellow. J.K. Simmons is almost always in yellow. But when he starts to kind of fade away from the life of playing jazz, and he kind of is maybe a little bit disgruntled about it, it kind of shifts to green, so it goes the opposite of the yellow, where it kind of is tending more towards blue, because you move toward blue on the color wheel, and you kind of get more green, right? And so you kind of see him drifting away from that yellow tint, so he's kind of leaving the jazz life of like pursuing the greatness. And even in that final scene, whenever J.K. Simmons fucks him and gives him the song he doesn't know, that he doesn't know how to play, the stage is blue. This is not his zone. Like, he is way out of it. He's like so far from being great right now because he's literally shitting the bed on stage right now. So now it's blue. And then, but everybody else around him, when it kind of starts to play, it's more orange now. So like you kind of see like he's the outsider in this entire stage. And then once he knows Whiplash and he hits it, yellow's back and he's in it. And even when he goes to walk toward his dad, when he fucks up on that first song and walks away to go to his dad's wearing a blue shirt, he's like in a blue suit, because his dad's not great. His dad never pursued greatness and doesn't even recommend his son pursue greatness. He tries to honestly push him away from pursuing greatness. And so when he goes to the blue, like his dad's wearing blue, that symbolizes again the opposite. So he walks over to his dad, gets embraced, but it's like, no, the blue side is not for me. Like, I want to go to the yellow spectrum where greatness is found. It's like those little colors are really cool.
Yeah. I saw something about La La Land, the same kind of thing. Like Damien Chazelle, like really puts emphasis on color. Yeah. Which is awesome. But also like a kind of a similar thing when Neiman would be playing the drums and he's like, you think he's not doing good at first, or he's not doing good, and then he starts to do better, you would hear kind of like a tone. Like, it wouldn't be the actual band playing, but you would hear like a tone of kind of just instruments kind of like harmonizing while he's getting his rhythm. And you can kind of tell. I've noticed that 2 or 3 times.
Like you like that subtle feeling of he's like hitting it finally, like he's in the zone again. Yeah, that's cool. And then another color point that goes with their wardrobe is when you first see Andrew Neiman when he's practicing, he's in a white T-shirt, but the room's black. And then Fletcher walks in his black suit. It shows that they're completely opposite right now. Like, he's Fletcher's the professional in all black, and then Neiman's a newbie in all white. And then, so you kind of see that contrast with them too. And then kind of as the movie progresses, you see their outfits kind of change, but obviously Fletcher's always in black. But you really get it at the end whenever he goes to call his girlfriend after he's like got the offer to do that JVC performance with Fletcher. He's in like a beat up white shirt that's like almost like falling off of him, because like he's calling his girlfriend, who he knows he's told her like, I cannot be with you because you're going to distract me. He just got the green light and now he's going to call her, but it's not going to work out. And so like he's wearing this tattered white shirt that's like, obviously not in great shape. So like clearly that going that way away from the jazz band, calling her up, trying to get a relationship again is not what he needs to do to get greatness. he's wearing a beat up white shirt. And then it cuts when he finds out that she has a boyfriend. She's not going to come to his concert. He dresses up in his black suit. He's like, all right, fuck it. I'm all in.
Yeah.
Just master filmmaking. Master filmmaking.
Yeah, I didn't even connect that. But I did notice that there was like holes in that shirt.
Yeah. And I think he's really saying like this, like it's rotten. It's like almost it's not that bad where it's falling off his body, but if it deterred more, it'd be falling off his body. It's like, that's not what he wants to do. He's breaking out of his shirt. Like that. You don't want to be in the white shirt life. Yeah. You got to be in the black shirt life.
Black shirt
The
life.
Black shirt life. Look at me. Look at me, all black.
Yeah. And I mean,
look at you, blue. Look at you in the blue colors.
Damn.
Fucking
no goals.
Unbelievable, bro. God. Look at you, bald head, sports sunglasses.
Kade was ready for
6 whiskeys deep.
Kade was ready for this movie. I saw it as more of he just like was a newcomer to the whole thing, and he just wasn't prepared for the like whatever was coming to him, and that was it.
Yes. Profound.
I got a lot of thought.
So I guess the question is that kind of torment worth the payoff? What do you think?
No. I would not go in a car wreck to make it for a band recital.
No, not you. Not you. I'm saying
Recital.
people that are pursuing greatness.
Yeah.
Is it really worth being treated like that? And is it worth kind of cutting off your life to achieve this one thing where you're going to be remembered, but your life's almost suffering most of the time? You get some hints
when it's pursuing greatness, absolutely. But like dying almost in a car wreck and still making it to the recital, fuck, maybe.
I mean, okay, an example is when he goes to break up with his girlfriend. That kind of shows how what's the word, delusional he is, because he just makes up this story and he tells it to her. Like he's just kind of making up what he thinks would happen if he does this, and he stays with her and all this. And you just see like, you're like, bro, you know, you're just making up this story.
I mean, it is kind of true though if you think about it, because that's probably what would happen. Like he's foreseeing his life.
But I don't think that's the point, because she's like, I already barely see you. And I don't know.
she gives him the out.
No, he forces the out on her.
No, but she gives him the in, I guess is the right way to put it. It's like, well, I already barely see you, and like I don't have a problem with this. Like, why? Well,
she kind of does. She kind of, the way she says it, you can tell that she's kind of pissed that she doesn't see him that often.
Right. Which, I mean, you could blame that on writing, I suppose, because like they haven't developed that relationship enough. But essentially, she, as her character, is saying like, I never had a problem with this in the beginning. Like, why are you trying to tell me that I'm having a problem with this now?
I don't know. I think, but if you just think about real life, if you're not hanging out with a girl, if real life, like our life right now.
Yeah, I mean, like she's telling him like everything was working up until now. Like I never once complained about like your hours, like going into what you want to love. And if you're going to like go ahead and complain about this now, it's kind of a surprise attack on me because I don't understand. Like I never once told you that I had a problem.
He's definitely delusional too, because when she says to him, like, I forget what she goes on a rant and like positions what he says in like the worst way possible, and it's like, really, that's how you feel? And he's like, yep. Yeah, and I see nothing wrong with what you just said.
She was like, so
she gave him a chance to compromise.
Yeah, she was like, so because I have no goals, like you don't want to be with me, basically. He's like, yep.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Finally, you get it. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Maybe we can be together.
God.
Yeah, that's what it is. But I love this movie so much too, because I'm big on honesty in movies, because sometimes I feel like today there's a lot of movies that aren't honest to real life. They kind of push whatever kind of message that they want to do, and that's fine. You can do that, but you got to work within how humans actually think and what the world really is. And so this movie's honest by showing, obviously a girl's not going to be cool with you, never seeing her and just always practicing the drums. To achieve greatness, you have to go through some trials. Fletcher's behavior is terrible and it's not admirable. Like you shouldn't look up to that kind of behavior. But if you look at history and how people are made and how the greats are made, that's kind of what it takes. So he's not like fluffing it or trying to like show that you can be great without, going through these kind of things. You have to. It's honest.
So what's the overall message that you took from this?
What I said earlier, it's about is it worth to achieve greatness, is it worth the cost that it takes? Is it worth the torture, the pushing, cutting everybody out of your life?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say, giving up like a life.
And that's what a good movie is.
Not even giving up a life, because I think, I mean, like he gives up the whole family, he gives up the girlfriend. It doesn't even show like a dorm mate, which is interesting, like from like a college perspective.
I mean,
like,
nobody wants to live with a fucking drummer,
bro. Fuck no. Like,
especially that guy who's pursuing greatness. That motherfucker's up late at night, fucking.
Yeah, his family asked him if he has any friends. He was like, nope, never saw the need for any.
Yeah, he's focused on himself purely, single-minded focus.
But then it also goes to show, like, how greatness can poison, like, some of the best times that you might have. Because he's at a family dinner, and it's also, I mean, well, the dinner itself, like, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, everybody's just, like, kind of going around. Like, he's around, like, his parents, uncles, cousins, and his cousins are just saying, like, yeah, like, we're D3 football players, D2 football
D3
players.
athlete, third string QB.
But that's how the movie would make you think, like, oh, douchebags. But in reality, they're just like, oh, like, I mean, yeah, like, we're D3, D2 athletes. Like, we're proud of, like, what we've done. And he's just looking at him like, you're not the fucking best. You don't know what, like, your best is the NFL Hall of Fame. You don't even know what my realm is. Like, you have no idea what my best is. So it kind of insults him. Well, it fucking pisses him off that he's like, you have no idea that I am literally one of the best in what I do. And none of y'all will listen to me. And that's, like, kind of powerful. Because, like, that goes into, like, just a lot of different industries. What do you guys got?
Yeah, I was going to talk on that. Like, they're all complimenting everyone at the table except him. Mm-hmm. And they kind of talk down on what he's doing, even though he's, like, the best at what he's doing right now.
That's why I love that scene, because everybody's bragging about stuff that what their successes are the more popular thing. But if you really look at what they're doing, he is the most determined, the most successful out of everybody at that table. Which is
why the ending is so satisfying, because, like, he gets his father there, who shout out to Dad here in this movie, MVP. He was like, hey,
not really. That kind of sucks.
Why? Why do you say that?
Okay, in the perspective of the main character, the dad's loving, takes care of him, but the dad's definitely not the MVP because he's not there supporting his son. Kind of shits on his son's dreams and is kind of trying to not let him be great.
Yes. But at the end of the day, he admits that he does not understand what's going on. But he shows up at the biggest event that this main actor, the main character has going on, and he's there. He's not only there, but he sees, like, just the downfall of it all. He sees him just break down, leave the drum set. He's there at the door, and Miles Teller is just like, I'm going back. Mm-hmm. Like, he embraced him, and then he's like, I got to go back. And his dad just lets him.
No, he doesn't. He tries to stop him. Like, what are you doing? He's not happy that he's going back. Because there's that. Like,
he's confused, but he was there.
But when you see him walk in, he doesn't look happy.
No. That's not what I took from it.
Pull up the scene when his dad walks in. His face isn't happy. The dad walks in.
From when he looks in the door crack?
Yeah. His dad's like...
I didn't take that at all.
No. Watch his face.
Are you talking about when he comes to comfort him?
No, before that, when he comes to walk, when everybody's sitting down. Just maybe look at final scene. But his dad walks in.
No. To me, it looked like his dad was just there. His dad's just like, all right, like, I love my son. I'm going to watch him.
Yeah, of course, but he doesn't look
Which his dad
ecstatic.
tells him at the lunch. He tells him, he was like, what makes you think that I don't want the best for you?
No, yeah. It's fine. We probably won't find it. It's kind of it's
Don't find it.
it's too
crazy scene.
early in the scene to be a clip.
But I'm just saying, like, the dad does come, like, whenever they're, like, trying to, like, go over the legal allegations of him, like,
Yeah, he definitely
being
cares.
traumatized.
He cares for his son. He definitely loves his son and cares for him.
yeah, but he does tell him, he was like, what makes you think that I don't want the best for you? So when his son tells him, like, yeah, Dad, like, I'm about to perform in front of, like, thousands of people, and he's there. What about that doesn't make you think that he doesn't care about what his son does?
I mean, the one thing I think of is at the dinner scene.
That's the dinner scene.
That's
But then-
his dad.
but
His dad.
Yes,
said
but then he
motherfucked
changes.
him.
But then he changes his mind. He's there.
He doesn't. His dad never changes his mind. You can say that, but you can tell that because he says, "What are you doing?" when he decides to go back out there. His dad is the force in the movie that is showing you his belief is that he does not need to choose greatness. It's not worth it to go through all this kind of shit to fucking be the best drummer ever. His dad thinks, "Don't do that. That's stupid."
See, this is where, like, I think artistry, like, actually comes into play, because I totally took it different. I mean, when he was at the door, I took it as like, hey, I love you. Go. Like, go back out
He didn't
there.
say that though. That's like, but you could.
That's where artistry comes into play,
I don't
because
even know.
he never said anything. He just went there to embrace his son. No matter what you do in this moment, I support you.
I think that's actually wrong. Like, I think you can't even misinterpret it.
Well, I think you're wrong.
I mean, yeah, no matter what, it's his dad, and throughout everything you can see
how
that
could you prove that?
Hold on.
he's gonna support him no matter what. But in that scene, he didn't necessarily want him to go back, right?
He's not saying, yes, son, go. He's like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Don't come back. Like, why the fuck? And again, like we said, the colors, he's wearing the blue. That's suggesting
The blue, yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, like,
this motherfucker wants to make movies.
I'm just trying to tell y'all, like, how I took it was like he was there, and he didn't stop him. He never at one point like embraced him and was like, no, like, why? Like, why would you do this? Like,
He did say that and when he left.
What'd he say?
What are you doing?
What? He
Not
said,
you. I said,
You're saying he embraced, and like he said, like, what are you doing?
When he walked away, he's embracing him like, it's okay, son. You don't have to do this. It's not worth it. And then he turns back. He's like, wait, what? Why are you going back there? Why are you going to go perform with Fletcher? That guy sucks. He's like,
that's
I
the
want
subtext.
greatness.
That's all unwritten. That's in between the lines right there.
You got to read between the
I
lines.
want greatness.
You got to read between the lines. Great. Read between the lines. Look at the colors. Look at his shirt.
Look at the colors.
You think they choose the
Yes.
colors for a reason, brother.
That's Damien Chazelle's thing too. He's big on that.
Damien
He's big
Chazelle.
on that.
D Sheezy.
But even more to elaborate on that, the father-son dynamic is so opposite because like the dad's kind of chosen the mediocre life where he kind of cares about the things that don't really matter, because you notice in the first scene, whenever they first sit down in the movie theater to watch that movie, Miles Teller puts the craisins on the popcorn and his dad's like, why'd you put them on? He's like, I don't like the craisins. He's like, well, why'd you put it on? He's like, oh, I just eat around it. Because he knows his dad cares about the craisins being in the popcorn because he likes it. But Miles Teller doesn't give a fuck about...
I'm wrong. You're right. I was wrong. Hold on. It's okay.
I'm going to finish my point.
I'll admit it. But
Actually, or are you making fun of me?
no. I was wrong. I totally remember him now being like, "What are you doing?" Yeah. Like,
And so he...
why would I ever make fun of you?
Because I make fun of you.
No. I would never.
That's such cap. Anyway, but he puts the craisins on and eats around it, but he knows his dad cares about it, and he's like, I don't understand you, because Miles Teller doesn't give a fuck about anything in life. His apartment looks like shit. He doesn't really dress nice. He only cares about playing the drums.
He kind of sucks.
Who?
Miles Teller.
Oh my God. This guy's just fucking... God, now
He
you're the
kinda-
opposition.
Kind of sucks.
I love. Go ahead.
I was going to just say that. And then even in that scene, you know, his dad's kind of like a passive guy who like doesn't really stand up for himself because the guy bumps into him and he tells him sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. And the guy bumps into his popcorn.
That's hilarious.
Like that. The dad's obviously not pursuing anything. He doesn't give a fuck about it. He doesn't really care about him. Like, he doesn't care about the respect or honor of anything. Because he's just like, oh, I'm sorry. Somebody that bumps into him. Like, he's just cool with like kind of just shuffling aside and just being who he is and just kind of living in his own world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, I forgot what I was
I was pussy. What's up, Scott? What you got?
Give me a second.
No, what's up?
But,
Come
all
on.
right, I got something.
Yeah, what you got?
Going back to it being honest, there's something that I believe is that it seems that the people that achieve that greatness, like Michael Jordan, like anybody, look at anybody that's the great.
Who's the tennis player?
Miles Teller.
Tiger Woods.
That's golf, brother.
No, I don't know.
But like
I
greatness.
thought of him before I could think of the tennis player's name.
The girl?
Yep.
Serena Williams.
Yep.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark.
LeBron James. Is
LeBron.
that what you were thinking, Scott? It had to be.
I said
Clearly.
tennis player.
Clearly, that's what you were thinking.
Shut up, bandwagon. I'm just kidding. I know you're not a bandwagon. Just for the team. You're a team bandwagon. Look at that. All right, anyway.
No, what you got?
An argument that I've heard a lot and I think is true is that in order to achieve that greatness, you have to be fueled by an enemy. You have to be fighting against somebody because it's kind of hardwired in us to like fight against things. Like hate is definitely more powerful than love because when you hate something, you just get so fired up to go get after it. And so Fletcher creates the enemies inside of his students. He's the enemy. Once he's built them up, he like will put people against them to be like whenever literally he brings in he brings in the redhead guy who sucks at drumming just to piss off Miles Teller's character so that way he gets fired up to go to get after it. And he literally, if you look at it again, the last scene when he goes up to him, he's like, I know it was you. I'm not fucking stupid. And then gives him a music sheet that he doesn't know, a song he doesn't know. He's creating the enemy. He's like, so that way, if you think about what Miles Teller's character is thinking, he's like, fuck this motherfucker. I'm going to show this motherfucker what I can do. Then he fucking kills it.
So hate is more powerful than love?
Appears to be.
Spoken like a true married man, baby.
What?
You all heard it here. So did I.
The way I took that scene, which I think you're right, but the way I took it was that he was literally like, yeah, fuck you. You got me fired. And then put him out to dry. But then he just cares so much that he came back and killed it.
Because you can also tell that Miles Teller is pissed because before he even tells him what song he's playing, he fucking starts. He's like, "Fuck you, watch this."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "All right, well, I guess we're playing Whiplash."
I mean, that was so hype.
Such a hype
How
scene.
can
Bro.
a music movie be so hype?
That end scene was perfect.
Yeah.
Justification for a protagonist. Just J.K. coming up to him and being like, "What? You think I didn't know, you fucking idiot?"
Yeah.
Or he said something along those lines.
Yeah.
Just totally throwing him out there. I mean, you got like 1,000 people in the crowd. That's fucked up. And then all of a sudden, he fucks up. Goes out to his dad, cries a little bit. Clearly, his dad didn't give a fuck about him. And then obviously he goes back. then he goes back out and he leads. And let's be honest, we're all just chilling on this couch together.
Holding
And we're-
hands.
Yeah.
Pause.
No pause. I'm gripping Cade's hand like a gun.
Jesus.
And then we're all just like trying to get on beat.
I was bobbing my head the whole time.
Oh yeah, but then we all realize like Scott is the only rhythmic person in this group.
Yeah, I mean, you're so fucking offbeat, just
Yeah, we're
fucking seizing
like,
on the
yeah.
couch.
This couch is shaking.
It was shaking. The
He's like,
dog's
dude-
like, what the fuck's happening?
He's doing the whole thing. Scott, why don't you give me a drum? That's how I'm looking like during this whole movie.
For those listening, Gray was violently shaking his head.
And I have no shame about it because I kept thinking, I was like, oh, I got it. Okay, wait, no, I do. It was like the perfect ending because I want to look that up, Scott. How long was that drum outro? I bet it's crazy because it felt like forever.
But it never felt long. It never drug.
Really? To me, I was just like, damn, I could just like live in this beat.
That's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying it was long, but it didn't. You weren't ready for it to be over.
Right.
You're like,
yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Keep going.
okay.
5-minute scene.
Let's see when the drumming starts. Oh yeah, about 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
That's crazy.
And-
because it felt like eternity to
Yeah,
me.
dude, so good, bro.
I mean, me and Kade, me and Scott, we're just looking at each other. We're all on different beats. We're just
so good. And it happens multiple times in the movie, but his use of silence in a musical movie empowers the song so much more. Because you see Miles Teller fucking getting it as fast as possible, and you see all like the drums fade and the music fades. You just focus on him just in the zone, not even hearing what he's doing, but just like magic.
Yeah, well, I mean, the whole foreshadowing of the movie was that, like, when he was alone, he was bleeding on the drum set.
It's your thumb, dude. Your thumb was right there.
He was bleeding on the drum set. And then by the time he finally got to his best performance, I mean, he's sweating, he's bleeding. And that's when J.K. Simmons' character is just looking at him. And he was like, that's my tempo.
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. That silence is so powerful. And then the silence again, whenever he walks in, whenever J.K. Simmons walks into the scene for the first time at the practice, it's like so awkward. Like because that scene's so quiet, you just hear him moving. It's almost uncomfortable because it's like one shot on him walking in, taking his time, taking off his jacket, his hat, his earbuds, getting ready. Like you kind of feel uncomfortable, and you're seeing all the people in the class super uncomfortable too. So that use of just silent, it's not silent, but you only hear the ambient sound of him moving around. It's like almost like you feel like uncomfortable.
It's also crazy how precise Fletcher is, J.K. Simmons. Like even when he's putting his jacket up there, all that, and then he hits the count with his hand.
Yeah,
was like so slight, and then when he tells someone to go, and he stops him in like 1 second because he already knows.
And he's punctual. He literally comes when the clock strikes 9.
Yeah,
he walks in the door.
That too.
Perfectionist.
It's like he's just such a good actor, dude.
Yeah.
He is, bro.
Also at this point, I love Miles because up until this point, watching this movie, every character I have seen him play, he's always just a little bit confident. So it was kind of nice to see him more like humbled on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
With the tears rolling down his face, like the blood like coming from his fingers, like this was truly something that like he clearly like he had to work at. And did he have to learn how to play drums?
So the cool thing about this movie is that Miles Teller used to drum, so he was a drummer. So a lot of the scenes, he's actually playing the drums. Obviously, they hired an actual musician to like play like the fast beat parts. Obviously, that only like a professional can do. But he was playing in some of the scenes, and so when you see him play, he's actually doing it. And then J.K. Simmons wanted to be a conductor of a band, and so it was like the perfect mashup of everybody because he read that script and was like, because I think Damien Chazelle was like, hey, like, I'm going to try to help you out with the musical scenes. I don't want you to get too in the weeds of it because, like, it's not really important. We can fake it with the movie. But he's like, dude, I wanted to do this. Like, this is what I've done. Like, I have experience in this. I can totally do this. So it's like a match made in heaven. That's why it's so good because Miles Teller was a drummer. J.K. Simmons was a conductor.
Also, I think Miles Teller is such a good actor, too, because you can just tell when he's playing unconfident versus when he's playing confident. It's just such a subtle thing.
Yeah.
And you can just see it on his like whole body and face.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and they make it really clear in this movie because whenever he goes on the date with the girl from the first time, he makes it clear to her, like, I look to the ground. And it's so subtle, but then once he announces that to her, once you watch him like through the rest of it, it would make sense that a drummer is constantly like looking down. You know what I mean?
He's probably always just imagining drums beneath his feet.
Yeah. So like he tells his date, he takes her to a shitty pizza shop, and then like once he tells her that, well, for me at least, like I noticed, like after that, I could tell that like the reason for that being is that he is constantly just like looking down at the drums.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that totally makes sense. His like body's like morphed into like just being a drummer.
Just constantly like down. Yeah.
But and also with J.K. Simmons acting, like he is so intimidating.
Got my ass. I told Scott, Jeremy Piven, I think, and I
who's Jeremy Piven?
He's Ari Gold,
Yeah.
which is a very.
Who's Ari Gold?
You haven't seen
Entourage.
Entourage?
No, I think we talked about it before.
Have you
talked
seen
about it?
What's the movie we were talking about?
Old School.
Old School? Have you seen
I've seen Old School.
He's the dean.
Can you look him up?
Yeah.
Regardless, J.K. Simmons did the best job that could have been done.
Yeah, he's so intimidating and just like that powerful. Okay.
From the first. Yeah,
like I mean, obviously the filmmaking helps the performance become more intimidating with the sound of the movie, but his just presence is there. And what's cool is that like, cause they got such a great dynamic with J.K. Rowling, Scott.
Yeah, my bad.
J.K. Simmons and Miles Teller had such a good dynamic that in the scene when they do like that, the short film the scene that was turned into the short film, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
The slap part, when he slaps him, they both agreed they had takes where it was like a fake slap, but he said when we record, it's like, no, let's do it for real.
Yeah,
and slap the fuck out of him.
I think with a movie like this, fuck it.
I always think about this kind of scenes, like what if the script only had for like one slap, but like you're in the moment and J.K. Simmons just is like being the character and just slaps the fuck out of him like, multiple times. Miles Teller's like, wait, what the fuck is going on?
Wait, what was that? Like 5 slaps? I think it was 5 slaps.
It was many. I remember it being 2 and I saw like 4. I was like, holy shit.
Look at me. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like,
dude, I was totally respecting you to slap the fuck out of me.
So did I.
And then I was like,
no.
all right, fuck, I guess we're on the podcast.
There yet, but like,
I guess I'm just taken.
But seriously, think about it. Like, after he got slapped 5 times, like, dude, you can't help but one tear like drop down.
What are you, a 1-tier? What do you say? Called him what are you, one of those 1-tier pieces of shit?
1-tiered faggot.
A lot of those dropped in this movie.
Yeah.
A lot of retards, a lot of faggots. They were dropped in this movie, but
those are coming back on Twitter. Those words are coming back hard on Twitter.
Yeah, which
strong,
makes you
coming
think,
back
like,
strong.
Is that why they didn't like this movie? Because I thought the whole getting in a car wreck scene was more fucked up than being called a retard.
But it's
or
a show.
A faggot.
But though using that kind of language shows that he's not obviously he's obviously not a good person. Like you know, Fletcher is obviously not a good person. Like he calls him, he berates him.
It's not being good and it's not being bad. It's all about like, I'm gonna push you to the limits that your society has not seen yet. That's how I took it.
Yeah, because it's almost like he's trying to discourage everybody from performing. Because if you can withstand my torment, you're probably going to be great. If you don't give a fuck about what I think and how I treat you, but you just want to play good instruments and play good music, then you should be here. You will be a great.
What's up, Scott?
I was gonna say what he just said last.
Fuck yeah.
But no, it's a great movie. I just love how it's honestly told. The script is amazing. The acting is phenomenal. The way it's shot is perfect. It's not too long. It's a condensed movie that's just like stated in its like realm of just kind of what it is. It doesn't have anything extra. It perfectly encapsulates the theme of the movie. You can tell so much from it. It's just like it's that's a well-rounded movie with just like the ribbon on top. Like it's just tied up perfectly.
Yeah. You know what I also liked is how they portray band kids for real. Like when you're out of the scenes.
Band kid for real.
Band kid for real. When you're outside of like the scenes where it looks like cool as shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like grand and everything. And then it's just like a kid standing outside in cargo shorts.
Yeah.
With a big ass trombone on his back.
Yeah, bro.
And you're like,
That's a band kid.
those are the band kids.
And then I thought it was hilarious that they had the like the chubbier guy that has like the curly hair, looks kind of dumb.
Mm-hmm.
He was the guy that got kicked out of the class the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course, it's that guy. If you look at the class and you're like, what guy are they gonna kick out in the movie? That's the guy.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
R.I.P. I wish it had been the other guy.
He wasn't meant to be in that class. If you didn't even know he was on fucking tune, get the fuck out of here. You kidding me?
Are you rushing or are you dragging?
I mean, but yeah, that kid's like perfectly describes what Fletcher's like, how he worked, you know, where it's like, if you don't want to be here, you're not going to be here.
If you don't understand what I'm putting together, then get the fuck out.
I do love going back to the perfection of him. Like literally, it's like, it's cool to see him just like literally within like a second of hearing it, he knows it's off. And it's cool in the scene whenever the scene where he's like, it's not my tempo. The core drummer who's sitting next to him that's turning the pages, you can see him sometimes like, that was off? I thought that was it. He like leans in, like listens. He's like, wait, what?
Oh yeah.
And then he says, this beat or this note, or I don't know music, but like this part of the song, you're off beat. And he goes, oh, okay. He listens again. He's like, wait, what? Like, what the fuck is the guy talking about? I thought it was on. He like leans in and like, listen harder. He's like, obviously my ears aren't tuned.
Yeah.
Because, but he probably was. That might even suggest that he was on tempo and was doing it correctly, but Fletcher just wanted to berate him and just break him.
I would love to acknowledge the fact that like we don't really know anything about music going into this, except for Scott Jordan.
You know what?
Stop putting your thumb on that thing.
I'm not doing it. I'm telling you, I'm not.
You have to be, bro.
I'm telling you.
It's second nature.
I would like to
Dude, hold it like this. Look, bottom, below the grip.
Dude, we've been doing this.
Nice.
Look at that. Natural.
I would like to say that Scott is clearly our only band person. Although I played trumpet in the 7th grade.
I would also like to say Gray is clearly a professional podcaster.
Yeah.
I was third chair at one point.
It's almost
But
first.
I would just like to say, like, there were
almost
probably a
first.
lot of things going into this movie that I did not catch. But I cannot wait to hear what Scott has to say. What do you have to say?
I was
What's
gonna
up?
say, I'm kind of like Fletcher in a way.
You demand perfection.
No, when I,
Fuck yeah.
you know, when you're looking for do you ever go on like Music Bed when you're looking for a song for
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
I can
Kade
tell in
does
1
not do
second
that.
whether it's the song or not.
Kade does not
that
do
you?
that. Nope. Absolutely not.
I will click through songs fast as hell. You know,
That's the worst.
you know, in a few seconds. You know.
Yeah. The vibes.
Yeah.
Gonna be a vibe feeler. Gray's not much of a vibe feeler.
It's kind of off vibe right now.
Yeah. Yeah, you're off vibe today. Look at you. The bald head changed you.
You changed.
You changed, bro.
I can't believe I've been so ostracized.
Hey, you've had some wild takes for this movie. I will give you that.
So, anyways, final thoughts.
Yeah, give us. I gave my final thoughts. I think Scott gave his final. Did you give your final thoughts?
Did y'all? I didn't hear him.
I pretty much. I didn't say it, but I kind of did. Give your final thoughts, and we'll wrap this episode up with,
I liked
with
it,
a Gray monologue.
J.K. Simmons. That's how.
Hold on. Not my tempo. Go again.
Oh, nice.
J.K. Simmons.
Nope. One more time. There you go.
J.K. Simmons. That's how you make a fucking movie.
J.K. Simmons. That's how he makes a movie.
That's how you make a fucking movie.
How about Damien Chazelle, the mastermind, pulling the strings?
That's what you think. I mean, that's what you think. Not quite my tempo.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. Drop your comments below what you thought about Whiplash. And thank you for listening. Subscribe. We'll catch you next week. And we are out.
Scott, how could you be so fucking hammered for this episode?
Trying to buy my next meal. Seems all I do is drive. And when the boss man sends my next check,